Guys, this is my chassis train video. So let's see what's in this type of body. You can see there's like a chassis there. There's like this type of train. You see a chassis.
So what kind is that one, Matthew? It's a covered, what is it? Covered.
A covered hopper.
Covered hopper, yes. 54 foot.
A 54 foot.
Covered hopper.
Covered hopper.
And chassis system. You know.
Chassis system video. Let's check out the other train.
And it's made by who? It's an Athearn, yeah?
Yeah.
It's an old Athearn kit that
It's an old Athearn kit.
that we bought on eBay. It was already made up. So we just got that recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should put the box in here.
And let's see the other train.
So this one, what's that?
So this type of train, this type of train is my two of old trains.
Yes, and it's what? It's Western Maryland, right?
Yeah.
Which became part of chassis system later.
You
Right?
can see that it was part of this type of chassis system.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a kit we need to make, a box car, right?
Yeah.
50-foot box car by Accurail, which we have to make up. They're nice kits, aren't they?
Yeah.
Realistic, easy to make.
Let's see
Nice
the other
details.
train.
Let's see the other train. So what else do you have?
We got another railway train.
Another kit there.
Another kit.
This
A
one
model.
isn't chassis system, but anyway.
It isn't a chassis system.
Another Athearn, old Athearn kit. These are.
It's the old
Yeah,
Athearn kit.
it's a 57-foot refrigeration car, right? They call it reefer car.
Beaver car
It's Norfolk on Western.
on Western.
It's
I
also-
don't know why it's showing the type of badge.
I don't know either. But anyway, it's another kit, right?
Yep. You can see all this detail.
As Matthew can tell you, these are, unfortunately, these kits are not made anymore, but you can find them on the internet, right?
Yeah.
And some hobby shops still take them.
And-
We found this one here in Finland, actually, believe it or not. They had a few Athearn kits left.
And Daddy kind of got the chassis, and this, and this.
Yeah, this one here, actually, Matthew's, this is an SD40-2. It's an old, very old Athearn one, because you can tell by the sort of 80s or pre-80s, 80s and further back. It's got these attachment holes here for the chassis where it connects to the body. The newer versions had, they didn't have this hole, and then the couplers, if you see the coupler mounts here, they weren't like this. You had there's a separate coupler that you slot through there, and this piece is not, there's no gap there. And then these have, of course, the metal. It's actually good for children because these are almost unbreakable. The old Athearn ones have the metal railings, which are quite tough, which are good for children because obviously there's a high risk of breaking them. The newer Athearn ones, as well as all the newer model trains you often buy, have
And
plastic.
this piece, it still gets torn. You can see
Yeah.
there's one piece that came off the horn.
Oh, the horn broke, yes. Yeah. So that's their SD40, right? SD42.
SD42.
Chassis system. And then what else do you have? You've got some other chassis system.
There's some.
This
This
one?
is one
It's the
type
one.
of chassis system that you got. And this
The Western
one.
Maryland. No, this is Missouri Pacific, actually. There's a few other roads here, but
And this train is too hard work to put on the truck. When you push it, when it's run on the wheels, they're like a piece doing making it, and the wheels are too tight. When it turns, it's hard to flying off the track.
yes, I think we had slightly too. What he's saying is that the curves were too sharp for that 65-foot gondola. It's that's a Walther's kit version of their 65-foot gondola, and it doesn't seem to like anything under roughly 20-inch radius. I think we have a 19 radius at the moment, and it doesn't seem to like that. Now these, you've got your 50-foot gondolas there. Yeah, that's a chassis system.
There's another chassis system.
This is an Athearn from Athearn kit also. Yeah. And then what's the other one? You have this. See, you have got
the old train.
That's the Southern Railway.
And the last old one.
Also an Athearn kit. That was a Great Northern, which I actually weathered. It's also an Athearn kit, 50-foot gondola Athearn blue box kit.
And there's more there.
There's a Sioux line. Yeah, it's very weathered, isn't it? It's very old.
It's very old looking.
Very old.
That one was a bit old.
A bit old. Sioux line, 50-foot.
This one looks like that pink one. It just crashed and it's looking like it's dirty.
Yeah. Excuse me. And then also you got a C. Don't you have a C&O gondola, Matthew?
Yeah.
C&O, which is part of the chassis system later. So that's a C&O gondola.
My C&O gondola.
Chesapeake in Ohio. 50-foot, also Athearn blue box kit. As you can see, they all have the KD couplers, which are these. Which have been put on. It's the actual. They look sort of prototypical, like the real thing. They're metal couplers, and they actually have very small springs in them. If you can quite see that there, see the small springs. They're quite reliable. They're quite strong. Of course, they have a tiny spring, but they do require a bit of obviously.
And you can all times see that
care in putting them onto the cars.
You can all times
you can see that.
See that these wheels can turn.
Yeah, that one still has the original Athearn plastic wheels with the metal axles.
This one was still a bit delicate. I was trying to work on the train, got broken. Then I want to crash this type of train.
Yeah, I did a few renovations on this
Let me show
hopper.
you this type of
Because
the hopper.
Actually came.
It got. You can see the the like a little bit of crashes. You can see that crash. I'll show you. There's the crashes. They give it a bit of crash.
But it's a nice car, isn't it? Nice yellow.
Yeah.
Chassis yellow.
There's to buy some paint. Let's repaint this.
Yeah, we'll paint it.
For it to dry, then we have a bright yellow train.
I think that one has the. Let's see the wheels. It came with the. You can see they've got. You can see some writing on the wheels that are molded into the wheels. But they're also quite good.
Daddy.
They're slightly wider. You can see wider wheel tread areas. And KD wheels. This is what the branding looks like, but this is slightly different. This is what they call a Code 88. So it's actually a narrower. It's supposed to be sort of make it look semi-prototypical. So it's got a narrower tread. But basically, so the others that I showed you, they actually code 110. And those are kind of the standard you'll see around also, but you can buy either. Both seem to work fairly well. What else?
Now let's take a look at. Now let's touch with the heavier chassis. It's too heavy for me to hold.
It's D42. It's a very old locomotive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, we bought it on eBay.
That we can put it in the old yard.
It still runs.
Yeah, it still runs. You can see what? I wonder where the muck and pieces are.
Where the smoke comes out? Yeah, the smoke comes from.
Yeah, it comes from this piece.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that says this piece is coming loose.
Well, that's how it was made. It snaps on that piece, but it's yeah.
And this like the backlights.
Yeah, they have backlights. Although they don't actually
And
light
the
up. You have to
little
light it up yourself if you want to.
little tongues they're there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
The,
nice. Molded on. I mean, this again is not like a highly detailed model, but it's quite a tough model. It's
and you can
quite durable.
See
so it's quite a perfect
that
choice for
they're
children.
like
It's a
the
shame they
tears.
don't make them
Then
anymore.
you can see there's like tears to the door.
Mm-hmm.
Not door. Not on the back. You can see on the back train.
Yeah.
I wanted my dad to buy for me the back train, a different chassis.
Mm-hmm.
That this piece go in here.
Yeah.
I want my dad to buy for me. I don't like that one.
Mm-hmm.
This chassis has to just pull it.
Mm-hmm.
They're both the same.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if we could buy a lot of chassis and they can all uncouple
Yeah, they
to
can
this
couple together.
to this type of chassis.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a heavy cargo.
Mm-hmm.
The chassis has to move slowly.
Okay, Matthew, let me introduce one thing to everyone. I don't know if it's in this box, but the couplers. So if you're not happy, if you think they're for children, you're starting a monorail for children, you weren't too happy about those, the KD couplers because they look too, I don't know, they look a bit too involved for children. Then you could try to see if they have these here. What's called the horn hook coupler.
And you can.
So, as I was saying, yes, if you find the KD couplers too much of an ordeal for children, as well as a safety issue potentially for smaller children.
And they're like.
Although they're very reliable, these are the number 5s that are used the most often. They have a different ranges of couplers, but this number 5 is the common one.
And now
then
it's like this type of piece.
Yes, hold on just a minute, Matthew. Let me just explain the couplers again. Is the horn hook coupler was the original other option. It's as you can see, this is all there is to it. You just have to put it into the coupler mounting box on the car, and then put on whatever cover it is provided. Either it snaps on or it's you have to screw it on. But it's fairly. I use these I remember as a child for a long time, and they're quite reliable and quite durable also. And again, there's it's just one moving part basically. So you can try those. Horn hook coupler, as horn is not like a cow's horn and hook is in hook. You can find these around probably also on the internet on eBay. Okay, Matthew, what's next? Are we? What else do you want to say?
I wanted to tell you about the chassis again. That kind of got something very interesting. Just so you know. I wonder why it got these pieces. The white parts, these pieces.
Well, that's where you would put a number there, like the number of the chassis. They haven't done it, but that's
interesting.
But if you have like other more expensive locomotives, like the scale trains, SD40-2, they would have the numbers
on the
there.
box. You can see it on the box of like this type of carton that got the numbers.
Have the numbers like that up there on the top and the front.
Of the train. And you can see if you wanted to buy out all the trains that carry the container, you can just buy it. You can buy the trains that carry the cars. You just have one. You can see if you want to buy both trains at the same time, the chassis will boom. The chassis will boom. That train will be the back train. the front train. You see that's how the couplers looks like. On the joint of this box, that look like the big couplers for the chassis.
Yeah, so Daddy can say something?
Yep.
Yeah, so the Athearn now, Athearn is still in business, but they make what is called ready to run. So they don't make kits anymore.
Let's still see the type of train.
And they still make the SD45-2s, including chassis
see the
system
type of
version.
train. Let's see it.
Hey Martha, I was just going to tell everyone if they
I
wanted to buy it.
Show them a second of the train.
Yeah,
Let me show you the second.
It's the Western Maryland one.
You can see there's like the brakes and the ladders.
But still, wait carefully because the camera is going out in and out of focus. Let's do it slowly. Yeah. So that is that's the Western Maryland 50-foot boxcar. This one still was in the period where they had roof walks. Although if you wanted to, you could also remove them because there was a point at which they removed the roof walks of the older cars. But it's a nice kit. Very nice to see sort of early Western Maryland. These are retailing for about, I think on the Accurail website they were about between 18 to 20 US dollars. We bought it here in Finland for 22 euros.
And my dad wanted to buy for me the type of train.
At a local hobby shop here in Helsinki.
My dad just wanted to buy for me the train because I really like old trains.
You like old trains? Yeah, you like steam engines too, don't you? Steam
yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
That you can see the doors.
There's the doors, lots of pieces.
And the doors. And the door holders.
Door holders, yeah.
You can see the bag of wheels.
Those are the wheels and the trucks.
And you can see those pieces.
And they have some. It actually comes with some couplers. I think they are also. They come with.
They don't come with.
They come with a version of the knuckle coupler, but it's kind of like the horn hook version. It comes in 2.5s, and you just can stick it into the coupler box, and they're both sprung. So when you couple to another car, it just opens and closes. So, for example, those Accurail ones that come with that option, and they've got plastic wheels. Again, you can always replace them with the KD wheel sets.
And you can even see that the top.
That's the roof walk. Yeah.
That we just removed.
Yeah.
We just had to remove it. I wanted to remove it because when we shoot the video, actually. When we're making this, we have to just remove the top. I wonder how it connects.
Yeah, you can just push that in. You don't need to glue it either. Well, you do need glue for these kits. You basically need a screwdriver, glue, and preferably a model knife because you may have some. There are a few spots you need to cut some bits off. So certainly if children are trying to attempt this model, it'd be good to have some supervision
this piece,
from an adult.
And this piece we just have to make the wheels.
Yeah, you just put the wheels inside the trucks.
You can see
it's quite an easy kit. It's a well-made kit, so it goes together nicely.
Let me show you this.
Unlike sometimes the old Athearn kits, you have to do a few
minor pieces.
Minor sort of modifications because some of the dimensions didn't fit.
Small pieces.
Yeah, the small pieces. But the Accurail kits, they go together perfectly. There's no, there are no sort of engineering errors here and there that you have to sort of correct. Not to say that the Athearn kits were riddled with errors, but there are one or two things you have to sort of watch to get them to fit together nicely.
Pieces, that these pieces are coming off by itself.
Yes, and that's the bit you have to cut these bits off. So you need a model knife for that, and you have to make sure it's flush and flat because otherwise it won't fit.
And this piece and these type of pieces are coming off by themselves. They were getting when you hit them something, they come all by themselves.
Yeah.
what about they put in more? They come off. You see, it doesn't need one over here. Though they don't need it, it just doesn't need it. So bye bye. Thanks for watching.
Oh, hang on, Matthew, just to say, if you're in the United Kingdom, there's a lot of these Athearn kits around, but typically what I'm seeing on the internet is that the prices are getting a little bit slightly, I would say, inflated, and then you have the cost of postage sometimes to add to that. So if you go to model railroad exhibitions, you can often find these kits very cheaply. I mean, 10 years ago they were going for about, you could find them for like five British pounds a box, so it's quite affordable. Now I don't know exactly what they're selling for in the UK, but it's certainly going to be cheaper if you can go to a model railway exhibition. Of course, with Corona, that kind of reduces that option, but
Daddy.
Anyway, that's how would you best define them in principle.
Daddy.
In the rest of your yes, Matt.
I wanted to show that something about the chassis, how it can flip on the wheel.
Okay. Would you want to?
I wanted to show them how it can flip on the track.
Oh, Matthew, we can't do that now because it's too much. So let me just finish the video just by saying. So in the rest of Europe, you have to sort of fish around a bit. I mean, again, eBay may be your only option, but then, like I said, the prices are not always so great. In USA, of course, you're spoiled for choice. They're all over the place still. Again, model railway exhibitions is the best place to find them very cheaply. What else? Yes, I mean, I think that is.
I think that's all.
I think that's all.
The model railway chassis.
I mean, just give you
the chassis ball.
Yes, just to give you a price, Matthew, just 1 minute.
Price.
A price comparison on the locomotive. So the newer versions of this Athearn one you see here, like the most up-to-date ones, they're ready to run. They're going for a minimum of say 100 euros, 100 pounds, something like that. That's without any extras such as the digital control system called the DCC. They'll just be described as being DCC ready. After that, the price goes up. So if you're looking around and you see, the older versions of these locomotives, meaning the blue box version. So first of all, this one in particular, it should be, honestly, it should be quite cheap in principle. I say in principle because I've seen some rather inflated prices for these older ones. The other version, the newer version of the blue box, which run very nicely, they're not DCC ready, so you have to add the digital, the circuit board inside it. But again, those should not also be going for, if you compare, you find one of those for £100, or $100, somebody's being a bit silly, because you can find a DCC, modern, ready-to-run version, more detailed, etc., for almost the same price. So they'll be pricing themselves out of the market to put the newer generation blue box at, $100, £100, or €100. So they should be frankly, under 8. I would say under 80 euros, $80, £80. The newer versions of the blue box. So just to give you some advice for the model railway beginner. These are, of course, we should have said at the beginning, US model trains. So this is HO scale. We forgot that minor detail. This is HO scale. There are other scales you can find around. Like there's N scale, which is much smaller, but it has the advantage of being, you can get a lot more into a tiny space. So if you're in a small flat, or generally space is a problem, you can get N scale is a good option. And then you've got, for example, O scale, which is quite big. So, and there's some other scales as well, but those are kind of the three main scales. Although HO tends to be the most popular. In UK, of course, you've got OO, which is basically HO, but there's a long backstory to how it ended up being called OO. But it's basically, it runs on the same track size. as HO, the O gauge of the UK. Okay, so say Matthew, everybody what? Say bye-bye, thank you. And
bye-bye, thank you for watching on Train Video. Next time we're touching on tank cars.
You want to look at tank cars? Okay. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.